And some things I've heard before, the three main aspects of being somebody who is a disciple maker or a movement planter. And we talk about the profile of a movement planter being, the head, heart, and hands, and how during this weekend we'll be looking at those three aspects: what we need to know, who we need to be, and what skills or tools are in our hands to do. But this evening we're focusing a lot on our hearts, who we are in Christ, and also who the Father is and the Father's heart. So he brought, the story of Peter and the first disciples when they're on the shore, and when Jesus comes to them and he says, to Peter, put out into the deep, and he gets into the boat, that Luke 5 passage. And he was just talking about, how God prepared Peter to be the person who he was, how God prepared his heart, him as a person, to then do what he went on to do. And the question that I think God was bringing to Peter, Jesus was bringing to Peter, and often what he brings to us is, how much are we still in control of what we do? How much is it still about us having control over the situation? When Jesus met Peter, Peter was the person in control. He was a fisherman. It was his profession. It's his father's profession. And Jesus wasn't even in that profession. He was a carpenter. And so imagine that you are this fisherman. You've had all of this experience. You know what you're doing. You've got your kind of partner there with you. And this carpenter comes along and basically tells you what to do. It's like, Jesus, if there's something wrong with my boat, if there's a hole in my boat or something, yeah, you can tell me about this. I'll call you when I need a carpenter. But don't come and tell me how I'm to do my job. Don't come and tell me how to fish. I already know what I'm doing, so don't come and tell me anything, that kind of thing. And how, even in spite of that, he then says, well, if you say so. I wonder what his tone was, I don't know. Maybe it was like, oh, if you say so, let's do it. Or was it like, oh, if you say so, but you don't really know what you're doing. I know what it is that is happening. But anyway, he says that, and Jesus says, they said, I've been fishing all night, we've not caught anything. And, that's an easy thing to say, isn't it, when you've been working towards movements for ages in Europe or America, and it's not quite what it sounds like, 17 downstreams of multiplication or whatever in Asia. It's like we've been fishing all night and we've not really caught that much. We've not really done as much as what we thought. We had hoped for more, but we've not really got that much. And he says, put your nets down on that side. When they catch the fish, Peter's so overwhelmed, and he says, I'm a sinner. And that was the first episode of Peter having to give up control. And then we see it all the way through, from Peter wanting to build a camp on the hillside. This is what we think should happen, Jesus. We will build this thing for you and Moses, and we'll do this. And when Jesus then turns to Peter and says, Jesus said, I'm going to die, I'm going to be crucified. And Peter basically rebukes Jesus, says, no, you're not going to have to do this. And Jesus has to say, get behind me, Satan. But that whole thing of, the question is, are we at the end of our control yet? We come to the end of ourselves, and we come to the end of our ability, our pragmatism. We just get this done and then it will happen, kind of thing. We got to the end of that, we got to the end of ourselves, our work. How much is God in control of our life? How much is God in control of our ministry, or in control of what we want to see happen through movements? And also, where is our treasure? Where's our treasure first? Is it our family? Is it our kids? Is it our ministry? Is it our mission? Is it our bank account? Is it our way of doing things? Is it our relationships? Or is Jesus the primary treasure? Have we completely surrendered to Him? Have we got to the end of our work and entered His rest? Which is similar to what Eric's saying about what we're doing flows out of who we are in Christ, not this is what I'm going to do to prove my love for Jesus. I'm going to do this to prove myself, really. One of the things that Bastiano says, and he said it in a different way, I often say I don't trust anybody that's not dead or hasn't gone through a major issue. That's just me. Like, have you hit a brick wall yet? Because you're a different person when you've hit a massive. When I was about 23, I went through a massive thing for about 6 months where it was almost like a breakdown, and I couldn't actually function. In fact, I did feel like that guy on that. I literally could not function, and I was in ministry at the time, and I thought I was going to be put into a mental home, and I just couldn't do anything at all. And after the back of that, I didn't think I was going to come out of it as well. It was a very dark time. I didn't know what's going on either. I actually had times when I felt I was in hell. It was horrible. I've had many different types of things since then, but that was a key time. But one of the things the way that Bastiano put it was, he said that when he sees people who bear much fruit, he asks them, in what way did you die? Or how did you encounter the Father? So he put it that way. He said when he sees people who bear much fruit in the kingdom, he asks them, in what way did you die? Or how did you encounter the Father? And everybody he's met who's seen movements and multiplication in terms of massive sustainable fruit has had some kind of episode like that. So, yeah.